So the Mortal Kombat 1 online stress test is over, and again, while I did not get to participate, I've actually enjoyed getting to watch the clips that gamers have been posting online and reading through users' thoughts. So I again wanted to cover in a part 2 video, part 1 being the initial first thoughts on the first day of gameplay, and now this is kind of towards the middle and the last day of gameplay. So let's go over, there's going to be more Easter eggs that have been found, more dialogue that has Easter eggs. There's been some kind of quirky little I would say kind of movements and features that some of the gamers have been able to achieve while playing the game. And there's been some interesting takeaways as far as some of the fans' final thoughts about the game. So first up, let's talk about the continued drama with the codes being sent out. Specifically, the amount of money people are trying to make off of the codes, or were trying to make off of the codes. More specifically, a eBay post for a Mortal Kombat 1 stress test code for the Xbox going for $1,000. Some even as low as $250, but the max being $1,000. That is crazy. I don't know why you would ever pay for that. I know, like I said, it might seem like you're desperate to play the game. It wasn't that important. You could just wait for other stress tests, or maybe even the beta or something else to come along. So yeah, crazy. And I don't condone that. I think that's just, yeah, shame on y'all, whoever was doing that. And if y'all were able to actually get money from people, shame on y'all. Shame on y'all. All right, moving on. Let's talk about some of the Easter eggs that were found. So one was found by user Justin McCullum, and it's basically, you may already have seen it, but he was basically posting about the night and day of the Johnny Cage stage, talking about how during the day, a flamingo floaty appears along with the rubber ducky with sunglasses floaty in the back. That's during the night time. And then during the daytime, and at nighttime, there's a pool vacuum and a chlorine filter with a rubber ducky topper bobbing around. So kind of some cool little tidbits you may not have noticed just generally fighting in these stages, but some cool Easter eggs nonetheless. So moving on, let's talk about some dialogue Easter eggs, because more and more of these are coming up. I know that people are starting to post compilations of almost all the intro dialogues, all the in-match dialogues and endings and all that kind of good stuff. But some of the ones that I wanted to highlight in this video, we have one from Kinchi talking about how he was trained by the Yakuza. Now, we've already kind of known that, given his design and some of his movements, that he probably is aligned with the Yakuza gang. So now we've kind of got some type of confirmation from a video that the Realmcast posted, where in the video he says, "I was trained by Yakuza." So interesting stuff there. We've got Bihan from a video posted by Zuzu. It says story spoiler possibly, and it shows Bihan basically saying, "Die like my father," as he's preparing to do an ice move. So interesting there, guessing that he killed his dad, and he's going to kill you just like he killed his dad. So interesting to see where that goes, because if he and Scorpion are brothers, or any type of relation that's brother-like, I'm sure Scorpion is aware of that. So it'd be kind of interesting to see that kind of play out, and I'm guessing it has to be Lin Kuei related somehow. Next up, we have Jade that is mentioned in a dialogue between Kitana and Liu Kang. And it says, Liu Kang is saying this to Kitana, "Keep Countess Jade close, she is critical to your future." And then we have another Kitana scene where she's having a match against Kenshi. Looks like she's either the victor, and she's saying, "It is a privilege to serve Outworld." So we know that based off of some of the stages, some of the gameplay trailers, some of the kind of Easter eggs here and there, that Melina is probably Queen of Outworld, which means that Adenia is probably left over for Sindel, possibly, just a kind of the theory. So those are some of the dialogues that we got that kind of have some Easter eggs. Moving on, let's talk about some of the quirky kind of features some of the gamers have been able to achieve. So we have user Leo saying, "Something I noticed on the stress test, if you are teabagging, you'll get a taunt out of it, right? But if you hold block and start teabagging, you don't get the taunt to activate. I think NetherRealm Studios got to look into this." So for all you gamers that like to teabag people, I have not been familiar with, I mean, I know users do it, but the last time I, shamefully was teabagged was playing Halo long time ago. But anyways, so for all you teabaggers out there, there's some good information for you right there. Next up, we have good old SonicFox, already kind of trying to break records with the stress test. This was posted by SonicFox, but kind of covered also in an article by Event Hubs. And he was able to achieve a combo dealing over 48% damage. So in the article it says, SonicFox is able to perform a combo consisting of 20 hits that deals about 483.26 damage. Assuming that Liu Kang has 1,000 hit points, this means that combo dealt a little over 48% of the health bar. So crazy, crazy, crazy. And in this match, it's Kenshi with Liu Kang, and I believe Realmcast was able to kind of recreate the combo that SonicFox was able to do. So it can be achieved by anyone. It just, I guess, takes some practice and knowing what to do. So it's pretty cool there. Next up, let's talk about some stuff that Tabmock was able to share with us, and he was basically kind of giving us some of the costumes. We've kind of already had an idea of this, and I've talked about this in a previous video, but he kind of gave some screenshots of all the different alternative costumes, either default and alternative. So we have Jax, and of course he's in his purple and red, and then we have Kano and kind of like his just basic white, and then kind of like, I call it linen, but I don't know what kind of fabric it is. But then you have another one where he's wearing kind of like a brown pant. Of course, we have Sonya Blade in her green and red. And then we have the default characters. We have Kenshi wearing his red and black pants, Kitana in her dark blue and then light blue. We have Liu Kang with kind of like a black and red, and then a kind of a blue and black. Yeah, red and black and blue and black. Sorry if I said that wrong. And then we have Sub-Zero. Of course, and this is interesting. He's got blue, and then he's also got black on. So very interesting there. This kind of gives us an idea of what we can expect as far as colors. And then let's see. Next up, we've got. I thought this was kind of interesting. I've seen it. I saw it a couple times, so I wanted to go ahead and talk about it. But a user by the name of Jacob, Jacob Allah, hope I'm saying that right. He basically kind of created his own game mode, so to speak, as far as combat moves, titled Skate Combat. It's basically Sub-Zero versus Sub-Zero, and he said, Skate Combat confirmed as a new offline mode. Dragon laughing and look. By the way, Sub-Zero is so great, man. I can barely wait for the release of this game. And it basically shows Sub-Zero doing this ice skate towards the other one, and then the other Sub-Zero doing it back to him, kind of back and forth, and the movement over and over and over. So it basically seems like it's just ice skate combat. So I thought that was kind of funny. So the main chunk of what this video is going to be about, aside from just the kind of key Easter eggs, dialogue, and some of the cool features that some of the users have pointed out, are the kind of overall takeaways as far as the pros and cons that many users have come away with after playing the game for a couple of days, and possibly even wanting the game to be delayed. So first off, let's talk about some of the users' pros and cons of the game. So we have user MIL, who said, love it. In my opinion, cameos are a great addition and bring so much creativity and variety to the game. My only complaint is the slow movement, but I'm sure that will be looked at before Mortal Kombat 1 releases. This is going to be a pattern, so just keep that in mind, as you'll see going forward. Icy Emerald said, things that I like. Designs, game is so colorful, speed of gameplay, things I don't like. Lack of movement variety, camera, decrease of violence, and lack of a lot of bloods. So Icy Emerald wants to see more blood. We have Sung Lao, who said, give us movement. Please don't let the game be as slow like Mortal Kombat 11's. That's my honest opinion. After playing it, seems like the only people who will have fun with movement are competitive players. And then we have Joe's, I hope I'm saying this right, Joe's FGC. And he says, really fun, but movement needs speed boost. Continuing on, I have a couple more. I have Glitch1, who had his likes, or he or she had their likes and dislikes. They said, the likes, great music, beautiful visuals, insane combo potential, fatal blows are no longer some random gotcha, how much cameos participate in every part of the gameplay, making the fact that some will only be cameos completely okay. And then the dislikes, movement feels so clunky, this game deserves better, it needs to get a little faster and smoother. It's too overwhelming. My mind can't handle 2 characters plus 2 cameos randomly attacking. It's too much for me. I hope they have some tutorials to destroy this feeling. We also have basically Queenie or Kivini. I'm really liking the combos creativity you can do with combos. What I'm not liking is the movement. It needs to be faster. If we get MK9 movement, it would be a lot better. I'm just saying. And then finally, I have Anthony Martinez, who said, good, great art style, fun combos with cameos and airstrings, better presentation than Mortal Kombat 11 and 10. What needs work? Dashing needs to be improved. Frame duration takes a long time for an animation to finish, which is why the game feels the way it does, and cameo summon takes a tad too long in my opinion. So these are kind of users' overall pros and cons of the game after playing it for a couple of days. Now, where it gets interesting is, of course, you could probably tell from that the common theme in there was the movement of the game, of the characters in the gameplay. A lot of people were mentioning movement, so that led to a good number of users that I came across online. I'm sure there's more that were maybe suggesting that the game be delayed. That maybe, given that we're doing a stress test and that the game coming out in September, maybe that's just not enough time. So, a user by the name of Yaya Fantasy XVI said, I like Mortal Kombat 1 a lot, but I think NetherRealm Studios should delay Mortal Kombat 1 if possible. And then he kind of gives a YouTube video, or like a preview of a YouTube video that you can go watch. But his key takeaways were that he felt like Mortal Kombat 1 felt stiff and weird in regards to the movement. That was a main complaint. Again, we're talking about the movement here. Another user by the name of DaddyDab32HO said, NetherRealm Studios, if you guys came out and said that you needed another year for developmental time for Mortal Kombat 1, I would not be mad at you. In response to a user's question, in response to his comment, he said, there's so much to say to your question, but in short, is I just don't think they can adjust the movement, block pressure, fluidity, and speed in a few months. Also, maybe it's not just my cup of tea, ha, so yeah, these are my opinions as to why, even though I have more. So again, we're talking about the movement. Of course, they don't think it could take the 3 months till we get it out. So other users confirming, fix the movement, doesn't need 1 year. This is user Jacob, I'll log in. Game looks good for me, only some adjustments for mechanics and it will be perfect. Another user, JP's biggest hater, man, what are you saying? The game is fine. It's just the movement and the pacing needs to be improved. That can be fixed in 3 months, trust. And then RB Key says, as fun as the Mortal Kombat 1 stress test was, the game and then now the netcode is mentioned feels like it needs a lot of work before it releases in 3 months. So interesting thoughts. I think given how games have come out and have put a bad taste in players, mouths, like Cyberpunk, even the most recent supposed beta test for Multiverses that has been extended and it's kind of gone away for a while. And of course, where's Mortal Kombat Onslaught? I think that while we are anxious to get a new Mortal Kombat 1 game, I think we do want to make sure that it goes smoothly. And I think this is really good feedback for NetherRealm Studios to take away and hopefully work on. I don't know if we'll get it before the game releases, if it's going to be a day one fix, if it's going to be within the first month or two, but I think if it's not good out of the gate, that might hurt sales, and I think this game is really going to be dependent on sales. As Ed Boon's talked about in previous videos and interviews, and as we've talked about on this channel, the Mortal Kombat games have been on a steady increase and incline as far as sales numbers go. So from 9 to 10 to 11, the numbers have been increasing, more copies have been sold, and they could do Baco business if they do really well with this release. So I think it'd be, in their best interest to take users' feedback, try their best to polish it as best they can. I know that there will still be glitches and errors that people catch, but it all sounds like, from everything I've been telling y'all, movement is the key problem here, and I think that they need to address it. I think a lot of people may or may not be on board with all the cameos, but I don't think everyone's going to give up on that. So, nonetheless, that is the overall thoughts for the last few days of the stress tests. What do you think? If you got to play it, what were your thoughts? And do you think the game should be delayed? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. That's it for this video, guys. Do that like button. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time on the Mashup.